Hey, all. How's it going?
Hello.
Y'all trying to stay warm today? Hopefully.
I don't know about warm. It's snowing up here in New Jersey. We got about 10 inches on the ground already.
Yeah, we've got like 7 inches in Arkansas. It's crazy. It hasn't seemed like this in years.
I was just talking to one of my peers down in Austin. It was 4 degrees last night. They just don't even know what to do with that kind of cold.
Yeah, we had like an all-time record in we had -20 the other night at our like local airport.
Yeah, that's getting it done. That's getting it done.
It's wild. So yeah, guys. So I'm Drew. I'm not Patrick. Let me change my name. Hope everybody's doing all right. So yeah, this is like an open just Q&A. Hope you get going and rock and roll with CNC with any questions and stuff we might have. So has anybody got any questions? Anybody need any help?
I do. I got a quick one that you might be able to help me with. I haven't cut any wood yet, but I'm setting up the M2. I noticed that collar that attaches the chains to the upper rail to the Z-axis is adjustable. Is that for thickness of the wood? I'm guessing that the chains need to stay relatively parallel to the surface of the wasteboard. So if I want to cut, for example, 4-inch material, do I have to make that adjustment?
You want to make sure. Are you talking about the ring bearing?
Yeah, the ring.
Mine down here. The ring that goes around. Yeah. So you want to make sure that is moved up or down with your material. Exactly right. To make sure that it lines up with a straight line from the motor sprockets.
Okay.
So it's straight where your chain is coming off the sprocket. It's parallel with where it is on your sled. Because if it's off, then it can cause the chain to skip and like move around. So yeah, that's exactly right. That's why they have those adjusting wing nuts, so you can move it up and down and like adjust it exactly where you need it.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something in one of the assembly manuals.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's in there. It's like a small little note. We should probably make it. We need to make that more clear for sure. I'll put a little note in there to make sure that's called out. All right. So yeah, does anybody else have any questions?
Hey Drew, how's it going? This is Neil.
Hey, good.
Hang on, give me a sec. Trying to get my kid set up with all of his Zoom classes and stuff and all that, crazy nonsense that we have to live through these days.
I know, it's our new reality.
So I've had the M2 now, so it's noisy in my garage. I've had this since probably November when I bought it, because I was like, yeah, this, and I've been paying attention to Maslow basically since it came out.
Awesome.
Daddy, this isn't my character.
I know.
Or my world.
Sorry, one sec. So that's through the app. You have to use this now. No. Sorry, you have to go and get out. Out you go. So I finally managed to calibrate it. I had that issue where I was trying to calibrate the Z-axis motor, and then the sled would just go mental. It just go straight up, and then the first time it happened, it ripped itself apart. And thankfully, the guys at Maker Made sent me a new ring and stuff, so I could fix it. So I'm loving that. And then someone was like, "Oh no, you have to set home first and everything." And I saw that you just produced a video about the Adreno firmware, because I was struggling around that. So
yes,
I do think this progression to like a better information flow is great.
We're trying.
I know.
We're in a crazy transition phase, like everybody. We're trying to make it as easy as possible to get everybody onboarded. So we're like right in the middle of the transition between the two programs, and it's just we appreciate your patience. As we're trying to make it easy to use. So
some of it I do think is implied knowledge. Like some people, like in some of the reference material and like within the forums and stuff, they'll use terms I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Me too.
So I think any type of feedback like would be, let's just try and dumb any time of dumbed down any type of instruction that we give people. But also the last part of the calibration steps, you know, the precision bit where it gets it to cut. I don't know why, but for some reason, when the sled goes into one corner, I feel like the bit is further away from the wood. I don't get what's going on there. Is it because of my frame? Is that what the problem is?
Mike, you're muted. Mike, we were just talking about precision calibration earlier today.
Yes.
Oh, was it?
What do you mean by the router bit away from the?
All right, let me show you. So when it's in the middle of the sled, give me one sec. So my router bit is probably at this point, it's about 5 mil away from the wood. But when it goes into the top left-hand corner, it gets about 10 mil away. And I'm thinking, I used the frame design from the not the one that you picked to the wall.
For that, what you would probably have to do, to be honest with you, you would have to kind of make your bit since it's your calibration, you would have to make your bit almost touch the wood and bring it up a little bit. 5 millimeters is too far.
That's too far. I need to get it closer.
Yeah, so for when you do that, and then you go ahead and when you press the precision calibration to actually move and to do the drill, to do the hole in there, you should be good. Because if it's 5 millimeters away right now, it's only going to go as far as you tell it to go.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but
so it's like where 0 is and where it's set for 0. If your 0 is like farther up, then it's only going to like go down a little bit.
Exactly.
It's a good point.
The Maslow only knows the z-axis only knows where it's at.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So if your 0 is set closer to it, and then it's like back just a tiny bit, then that'll help it to not like hit a soft limit or something like that when it's moving around.
I do think there's probably an issue with the frame, because when I've set it to 1 mil away, sometimes when it goes down, it drags along the board. So it's 1 mil where it is in the middle, but then it will drag.
That might be a warped board.
Yeah. Is it mode
or something?
I think it must be the frame and the board. Yeah, because I need to just make a better frame for it. That's all.
Do you have a
can you guys hear me?
beam going across the back? Hey, Sam. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Just a quick one, Neil. On that, is it not? So if you go kind of top left and top right, are you not finding that it's getting further away? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be one or two things there. Like the guys have said, it's either going to be the frame or it's going to be the way that the chains, because obviously the way on that angle, the middle of the sled is pushing down. So as you go up, it would stand to reason if that was off kilter, as you come up, it would then take the sled further away.
Yeah,
but you should do some bouncing if that's the case.
So all right then. Okay, so that's basically what the adjustment
to adjust on that would be.
So that's the adjustment on the ring. I need to make sure then that
it's level.
The chain, because it looks like the chain is coming away a little bit from where it is on the sprocket of the motor at the top. So it is. All right, it's complicated, isn't it?
Which frames do you? Which frame brackets do you have?
I use the.
Which frame brackets do you have?
Well, you can have a look. Is this what you want to look at?
No, that's for the motor brackets.
For the motor, but on the frame, like the slanted.
I don't get the question.
Like the one, look right behind Drew's. You see Drew's? Yeah, those brackets.
Right, okay. Hang on, let's see. Drew, show me again, mate.
Like this one and that one. These brackets.
Oh right, yeah. I didn't use those because I built the frame
at the 15 degree.
The original frame design, which was like standalone. Because in my garage, it makes sense for it to be in the middle of the room rather than against the wall.
So it's already at a 15 degree angle. So then,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll try those two things, and hopefully that'll get everything singing.
Yeah, I had to put a support. I actually had to put 2 support beams like across mine, even my small one, for it being bowed, just to like kind of really cinch it back. And you can even put more supports, like perpendicular supports too, across it to really like push your wasteboard back to help it to be flat. So
Yeah,
that can help too.
that's what I'm going to do hopefully here in the next few weeks too.
And we want to work on like a different frame design. So love to hear the types of, I mean, everybody has so many different awesome frame designs on like what y'all have done to try to flatten out that 4x8, like as much as possible to like see what the best type of support is like across the back, you know, almost like little squares to just flatten it. Cause that little bit, you know, if it's bowed like, you know, an inch or a fourth of an inch, that's going to be a big difference if you're going all the way across the whole board with your cuts and everything. So
yeah, that's a really good point. Something for me to think about. So thanks for that. No, I appreciate it. I was really struggling like earlier on in the week. It's, you know what it's like because you get busy with work and stuff, and then
I
could maybe couple of hours on this a week, and I couldn't get it working. I'm like, oh my god, this is so frustrating. But it's getting there slowly but surely. So
it's best to walk away when you get to those kind of points. But there's two things that you're going to have to look at there. It's going to be bowing, and the other thing is going to be you can't change gravity. So you know, that's the way it is. You know, and again, even if you put a little bit more weight on that, but I've seen it before where I've gone sort of top left-hand corner or top right, and you can see it. It starts sort of moving away.
Yeah.
But again, if it's flat to the frame, and you'll see that as you move it around, if it's flat to the frame, you should be fine. I normally have, if I'm cutting real far left and real far right, sometimes I've just got to help it along a little bit. But that's just the nature of the beast, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Cheers.
Awesome.
I'm short now.
That's fine. That's what these are for.
Hi, Drew. I've got a quick question.
Yeah. How's it going, David?
I've got I bought the M2 and I've got a bit of limited space, so I've actually got about an 8-foot wide space in the garage. So I made the wasteboard 8x4, but I'm also my top track where the chain is hung from is 8 foot 8 foot long, which obviously means I'm not going to be able to use the entire sort of workable space of the 8x4. But I wanted to keep the frame the right size in case they expanded it out later on. Is there a sort of ratio for the maximum I can now use if I've got an 8-foot top track?
All right, that's the second time I've gotten this question the past 2 days. Sam is trying to do the same thing, and so his is smaller too. So we need to figure out those ratios, and I don't know them off the top of my head to know like what those are.
Okay.
So what I think that you're going to have to do as we were just kind of like pitching it back and forth as we were talking about it, is you'll have to raise your top beam up a little bit to give you a little bit more space for your the calibration for the triangles, for it to like move around. Kind of the same way that you would raise it up if you had like a larger beam. But on the other side, maybe it would be easier to go like closer too, but I think it would be better to go farther away. So because mine is farther away, is a little bit farther away on my, so I have a 6-foot beam on my little like 4x4 space, and I had to go a little bit farther up. So like mine is like 20 inches, I think, up. So I had to go up on mine to kind of get around there so I'm thinking that you might have to raise it up a little bit. So I would start with maybe like maybe 20 inches or 24 inches. It would be what I would guess, but I would also just throw it out for everybody to talk about what they think too, because there is no hard and fast rule yet that we have for that.
Right, no problem. Perfect. I'll try raising it up because that'll probably help a bit, I think. I just wanted to keep the flexibility in case I decided to go for the full top piece in the future.
Yeah, totally.
I believe Mia had a question on the chat.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me open up the chat. Yeah. So the big thing is making sure that it's at least 18 inches. That's the biggest thing that you want to make sure that your off of that is at least 18 inches. So you can go like above that and kind of maybe go up to like 20 or 24 and then kind of just experiment with it a little bit. But
just reset it.
I'm gonna put that in our request though, that we like do some frame building experiments and do some math on that and see if we can figure it out.
No problem.
Hey Drew, just before we get off of this,
where
you were asking about the additional height needed for the length of board on the top beam, right? Based on the calculation, if you run that out, for every additional foot that you need on the kinemetrics calculation, for every additional foot, you need to add almost 2 inches. There's no hard and fast rule. I can change the variance number in there forever, right? It's stupid math. It never gives you a straight answer. But for every foot that you add to your board, I would add 2 inches to the height.
For the, like, to grow it, like when you're
so,
expanding
you know,
it?
so if, like, I have a 10-foot board, the reason why I know this is this week, I was trying to do my precision calibration, and I've got a 10-foot board on a 4x8 frame, right? But whenever I got down to the very, very bottom corner, it went to drill the little hole for the precision. One chain just kind of went slack, and when I looked at this chain over here, it's almost vertical. That's why people use those 12-foot top beams.
Let me ask you a question. On your 10-foot, where is your actual pin nail that's holding your nail on top? How far is it away from the motor?
It's 7/1 up.
7/1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have it. I believe at 6 down, 6/1 down, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm not sure if that makes a huge difference. I mean, it does make a difference in how far your spring can stretch if you put it over too far, right? Because then you're causing more tension as you're trying to stretch that spring and go farther down to the bottom of the board.
Another thing you can do also on the precision calibration, instead of going in the bottom of it, there's a thing that says your target where you want it to go. Okay, instead of having it there at 24.5, you can move that to 75 point whatever, you know, say 3 inches. That way it doesn't have to go all the way to the end. So you can even do that at 10 inches, you know. So basically it's going to go 10 to top this way, the same way. And that would actually, a lot of people don't understand that part.
Yeah,
you know, I did it when I first started.
I wanted to go to the bottom on board. I was just curious as to what it would be. I was at 1.8 millimeter in accuracy for calibrating and dialing it in. And I was just curious if I could get better. No. 1.8 is about max. And I mean, I spent probably 2 days tweaking the deck, the frame, top beam, angles. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get. But having said that, I can't reach the bottom corners of my board within probably 6 inches very reliably. It could slack. So I think I need to go to the 12-foot top beam to get to those bottom corners. That's why I started on the kinemetrics calculation, trying to figure out, well, then how high should it be if it right? So anyway, I'm sure, Drew, you got guys there that'll knock out that math, but I think that's something that people need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something too, like so many people use the 12-foot beam. And if that is like the better way to go, then, you know, like we want to have that information available for that too. It's to say that like, hey, you know, we recommend a 12-foot beam, but a 10-foot beam would work, or a 6-foot beam would work. Or, you know, it's like, if we have that math done, then we can make it variable. So we can have like a standard frame. And then it's like, well, if you want to do a variable frame, like these are the ways that you would like go about doing it. And I know a lot of that exists for the old Maslow and the Maslow forms and stuff for the angled motors and using weight systems and pulley systems and stuff like that too. So, yeah, just trying to figure out like what's the best way with the angle and the spring. Is definitely something that
the only thing I think you need to actually change besides the height on going to a 12-foot top beam is you need a third wall bracket. You need 3 brackets in that top beam.
Yeah, I ended up cutting a piece of wood. Even 4 would be nice.
I ended up cutting a piece of wood and chunking it in there simply because whenever you get a board that long and it's unsupported in the center, over time it just starts to warp and twist. And
so like one of the things too is that we've been talking about, as well as like if there's a way to get it perfectly level without having to have a top beam that goes all the way across, like, you know, if you're going to do like a laser level or something like that, because really it's just the chains that would go that need to go across, you know, and if you could figure out a way to make sure that both sides of them, like where would those 2 motors go that are level with each other in relation to everything else without having to do a top beam. But the top beam is just the easiest way to kind of to work with it.
I thought about using a 12-inch piece of 1-inch pipe with the flanges on the ends, you know, to where it has the screw-on flanges with 4 screw holes. I thought about taking one of those and putting it up there and screwing wood to the ends of the flanges, and then that's it. You're not going to bend that 1-inch Schedule 80 pipe, and that'll stay straight. Yeah. And you can buy simple pipe brackets at Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, whatever. I was thinking about piddling with that this weekend, but honestly, I'm tired of tearing this thing apart and putting it back together.
So Mia, sorry it took me a bit to get to your question. I see that's in there on the firmware. So that might be, so I had that come up because I had the wrong board selected. So have you downloaded the SAM like boards in the board manager? Whoop, can you hear me?
I don't. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. So I had came on here a few weeks ago because someone looked on the board, and he said, "Oh, I had the upgrade kit, but it's the original Arduino board. So just follow the directions in the paper, you know, from the resource kit." So that's what I did. I downloaded the Arduino and then the firmware, and then every time I try to upload it, it's giving me this message.
Is it the when you say original kit, is it a Maslow kit? Like is the sled blue? And say M2 on it?
No, it's not the metal one. Is that what you mean?
The sled that the router and everything goes on, is it blue?
Like,
does it say
like Casey's? You know how Casey's is blue and Drew's is
like
blue?
Casey's?
Yeah, no, it's the wood one.
It's the original Maslow.
Okay, so for the original Maslow, you have to change the firmware. You have to go in and you have to edit it. Let me look that up. Does anybody on here have an original Maslow? Has flashed that firmware? Let me see. Let me find the exact instructions for you, because it's on GitHub for those to flash it. So.
Is what you're talking about there, Drew? Is that where you need to go into the .ino and change it from the V1 to the V2, dependent on the number of heat sinks on the Arduino board? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I have not used. I've used a Maslow one like once. I like the original.
Yeah.
So I'm not
following when I was struggling with the flashing the firmware. I thought I had to do that as well. It turns out you didn't. I didn't. So did the original Maslow have 3 heat sinks on the board?
I'm not sure if it had heat sinks.
I don't think it had heat sinks.
Did it not?
I think it did.
No. The original one, I don't think it had heat sinks.
Ah, okay.
That's when you get the Maker.
I mean,
it has the drop down boxes.
So you probably have a Mega board.
Yeah, Mega 250 is what I've been selecting.
Yeah, you have the Mega 250.
So let's see. So you'll use this. Well, is this the right? No, this isn't the right one. It is this one, I think. Yeah, here you go. So this has the instructions here. So that will be what you have to edit. So inside that INO, you'll have to edit it. So like opening up, it kind of walks you through the steps, and you'll connect to the port, and then you'll open up the serial monitor, which is kind of a little, it's like a little magnifying glass that's in like the top right. And then when that opens up and you're connected, then you'll copy and paste this that's in there. And then you should know that one. There we go. But I have not done that on a Maslow one. So I don't know all the steps off the top of my head.
That'll be a good one to learn.
Yeah, I want to. So my workshop was maybe going to get delivered today, but it's there's inches of snow on the ground, so I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, that's one of the things I want to do is I want to have an original one and tinker with it, so I know more about it. Yeah,
I know. So do I.
So because it's a different it's like the older system in the old way.
Yeah,
that
it's completely different from the M2, so I've heard, and that's why I went and I got the M2.
So Mia, can you send me a private message with your email, and then we'll follow up with you on support? Because Joel, who isn't on this call, he knows tons about the Maslow, and he can help you get going. And he probably knows off the top of his head exactly what that error is. So if you click over there in the chat and just send it just to me, and then send me your email, then I'll send you an email from support, and we'll make sure that we get you going.
Yeah, because he has I got the original, but then he did the upgrade kit, so it does have the Z-axis. So I thought that would be okay because it's been upgraded, but I can't get it started, so I don't know.
Do you have a do board then? Do you have?
But then when I emailed him to tell him I couldn't get it started, he was like, "Oh, I don't have the upgraded Arduino."
Oh, okay.
So, but didn't that come in the kit? Because there's 2 boards.
It should have. So there's a board that connects to it. Do you have like 2 boards that are connected together, or do you have 2 completely separate ones with different plugs and everything?
2 completely separate ones.
I couldn't hear you.
You cut out.
You want to see a picture of the board? See if
Yeah.
you're like this?
Yeah, like
one has a USB-C port and one has the port that goes like into.
Okay. Well, those are supposed to come together.
Does it look like this?
Yep.
Does it come in a little case like this?
Yes. So you got the board. So which port is it? So that one has. Can you show the USB? Is that a USB-C port?
No. This is the. It's like a micro. I think it's a micro USB.
Yes.
But this is the M2 board. Does it look like this?
We have one like that, and then we have one that has like the bigger.
Okay. So it's supposed to be on top of it like that.
Yeah.
Marley,
stop. Sorry, your little one.
Oh no, it's fine.
You
So there's 2 boards. There's like these are connected together. But if yours looks like this, then this is the one you want to use.
Okay. All right.
And this is the do. So if you follow the instructions in that video, then it will walk you through how to flash this one. But you have to change something for the Mega one.
If y'all need help, but they can also send me an email as well, and I can try to log on.
Yeah.
And I can
just send your email to private chat, and we'll make sure that we get y'all going for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks.
Hey, Drew, I got one more question quick. It's got to do with sled weight. So I've upgraded the M2 from the DeWalt, the little trim router, to a rigid 2 horsepower job.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 bricks, attached to the sled. That thing is awful heavy. And I'm wondering, what's that total sled weight supposed to be so I don't ruin those drive motors?
So the drive motors should be fine. They have the same motors that are in ATM machines. So yeah, like probably having a little bit too much weight is better than not having enough weight, because if it doesn't have enough, then it'll go.
It's definitely not going to do that, man. You practically throw out my spine trying to lift the thing up onto the. But it's just real with the. I didn't think it was going to be, but with the additional weight of that rigid router motor it's heavy. I just didn't want to rip up the drive motors.
What version are you using? What version of Makerverse are you using?
It's the latest one from I just downloaded it. It's the latest one on the website. It's 1.8.
It's going to ask you to change it to newtons. So what you can do is actually what I did myself, because that's how the Maslow works. It's all numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the correct weight on there, it's going to help it out a lot.
Right.
If you put the correct weight, whatever weight you have on there. So it tells you when you're doing the calibration, how many newtons it is. So what I did myself is I weighed myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally got the whole sled with the
and held on to it and then did the math, see what it weighs.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I just converted it from LBS to newtons.
To newtons, right? Okay. That's a good idea. All right. Super. See, I'm glad I asked. All right, but I don't have to worry about. I mean, because I swear to God, that thing must weigh 15 pounds.
Yeah,
no, you're good.
It'll be fine. Yeah. So the tiny bit that I know about the Maslow, the original Maslow, it used the bigger Bosch or rigid routers. Like it used the large routers and bricks. So the original design used those. So
okay.
So yeah.
No, it's all good. I mean, my brother-in-law owns a machine shop. Because you guys don't have any of the conversion clamps on the website, they're all out of stock. So I took the little one that comes with the kit for the 611 DeWalt and just scaled that up to 91 millimeters. So I've got a nice aluminum
Hey, I
clamp
like
on there
that.
now.
How did you do that?
How did I do?
Can you give us a pointer on that? Because we're
To upgrade the clamp?
yes.
Yeah, all I did, I got a SketchUp file. I can send it over to you. But it's basically a 1-inch thick piece of aluminum.
Okay.
And I ran it through a CNC machine at my brother-in-law's shop. And just I duplicated the way the original black Maker Made clamp for the 611. It looks exactly like that, except it's silver and it's much larger. And it fits into the Z-axis carriage with the same 4-metric screws that the original carriage came with.
Awesome. Send us a SketchUp and send us a picture of it. I would like to see how it looks.
Sure, I can do that. I don't have it's out in the shop now. I'll have to go out and dig it out. But next week I'll jump on if you guys are interested in the clamps. No big deal. I'll share the file with you. It's
Take your time.
And super easy.
I got the Bosch 2.25 on mine.
Yeah.
The large 91 millimeter.
Yeah.
And got a set of full-size bricks on it, and then I added my own custom vac system on it.
I like that vac system. That looks good.
A lot of weight, and it runs better than it did before.
Do you find that the vac hose drags the sled around? That was the other thing that I'm looking at. The vac hose that I've got for mine is a little bit stiff, so I was going to go with like dryer vent material just to make sure that it didn't hang the sled up.
I built this.
Oh, look at you with the swing arm.
Yeah, I love that.
You're all fancy over there.
You should patent that, my man. That one's got retirement written all over it.
It was made out of scrap wood and a little piece of pipe with a flange bolt on it. So I can actually just grab the pipe, pull it off, and the whole swing arm comes off the wall.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but this vac system here, it weighs probably another pound, I would say. But you know what? I don't see any, it's got to be 95% effective. And a lot of people are afraid that it sucks itself to the wall.
Right.
But, it does, it actually creates a little vacuum, but I find that whenever it's sliding across the board, it doesn't pivot back and forth like that so much. And I can actually run at a little higher speed. I've been bumping it up to 35 inches per minute whenever I'm doing my cuts.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very nice. You ever have you run half-inch shank bits in there to cut, or you just still using the 1/4-inch stuff?
I've got 1/2 inch, 1/8 inch, and a 1/4 inch. I haven't put any 1/2-inch bits in there yet. Me and my son like to make kayaks, so we can make our own wood kayaks. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get the precision and everything down for, is to start cutting plywood for that.
Neat.
Yeah. So Matt, in chat, I see that you're asking about ground control or web control. So ground control is discontinued. It is several years old, and web control is really buggy. So because of those, and web control actually might be discontinued too, I would recommend Makerverse, which is what we're all talking about, what we were just talking to Mia about. So Makerverse 1.1.2, this link right here that I put in there, and I can send you, let me send you the actual like Makerverse like website too. It has the capability to run the original Maslow. So you'll just choose in your setup, when you set up your machine, you'll have to flash the firmware for it to work, but then it will run the original Maslow. And I've heard a lot of good things from people that have used it. I haven't used it personally with the Maslow one, but I know that in the owners group and stuff that we have, people have been really into it and loving it. So I think you'll have more luck running that than running ground control or web control.
Gotcha. And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh,
yeah.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I was going to ask you, is the Makerverse compatible with the Raspberry Pi?
Yes.
Yes. So we were talking about that last week, I think. I have not done it yet, but there is the documentation in Makerverse right there where you can install it and flash it to a Pi and then run it from a Pi. And we were actually just talking to somebody who I think they're in the owners group. Emily was talking to me about it, that I think they're running everything from a Pi from like their garage. So yeah, you can have it like sitting on there as like a standalone, and then you can access it from like a web browser and stuff. But that's still beta for sure to get all that going. But yes, is the technically yeah.
And so what's if Pi is kind of beta, what's the go-to setup that's the very easiest, quickest to get online, simplest?
Plug it into a Windows, Mac, or Linux computer, and directly into it, USB 2. So if you can't use any dongles and you don't want to do USB 3, but like direct connection from like the micro USB straight from it to your computer, and then having the drivers and stuff installed, it'll just stay connected to your computer while it's running.
And then I'm a bit of a software dummy. Is a Chromebook considered Linux or no?
No.
Okay, I'll just get a Windows PC then.
Yeah, and it can be like a really slow. It doesn't have to be something that's like you could do it on like a netbook or something. Like it doesn't need to be really powerful at all.
Sure.
So so Chromebook uses Chrome OS, and that can't run Makerverse yet. But you can install it on a Pi. But I don't know that process for Maslow. I'm sure that in the forums, in the Maslow forums, I'm like 99% sure that somebody has done it. That you could go through that process, but you're going to have to flash it yourself and flash the micro SD card yourself and go through all of those steps. So it could be pretty involved. It is going to be pretty involved. So I don't know how much you want to tinker with it, but if you'd like to tinker with it, that might be right up your alley. But otherwise, probably sticking with like an inexpensive like Windows machine is your best bet.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the advice, guys. I appreciate you. I'll probably listen in, and then I'll stop taking up the forum's time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's fine.
No worries.
Yeah, that's what this is what it's for.
Hey, Mike, there's the clamp.
Oh, there it is. Nice.
All right. Nice.
Right, and I drilled the 4 holes in the back so that it attaches right where it's at. So it's the same. It's essentially the same size as the trim router job.
Chris, have you tested that in your setup yet?
I have not. This is this weekend's project. So
it's possible that those corners might hit your ring bearing carriage as it's moving around. It might not.
So I got it so that it's centered. It is the minimal distance. It's just shy of a half an inch bigger. I'm gonna sneak it. I'm gonna just sneak it in there, I think.
Hopefully,
otherwise I'll have to mill the corners to make a yoke out of it. But
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you might have to like mill the corners down to like get it to shimmy in there. But yeah, let us know.
I will. I'm gonna run it this weekend. So I'll next week I'll let you know how we do.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I'll share the file if you guys have got access to a milling machine. It's super easy to make.
Hey Drew, now I feel cheated, man. His looks better than mine. Better than that 91 millimeter clamp you sold me.
Yeah, no, well, that's why it's rounded. So it's got like rounded loop on it. So it doesn't like bump.
It's good. It's a good functional unit.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's a simplest. Is always what we should
be more than happy to outsource it as an aesthetic upgrade, Drew. So just let me know, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, there's nothing stopping you from like making that, and if you can make those and put it in the marketplace and sell them yourself.
You could call it we could call it the bling upgrade. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like spinners for the wheels. It's good. It's all good. Yeah.
You can even engrave it, put like a name on it or something. Yeah.
There you go. Little Maker Made action there. It'd be good.
Perfect.
Let's see if it works first.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
Yeah, Drew, in the Makerverse, the new software Makerverse, the upgrade, whenever you go in there to create a workspace, right? I go in there to create a workspace. You're supposed to be able to add a picture or an icon or an ICO or something like that in there. Mine's always grayed out. I can't add anything in it.
It won't let you add one? Okay.
No, I created a new one, and it doesn't allow me to, no matter what I do. The other thing is, how do I delete an old workspace?
Yeah. So that's something that we're working on, like all the changes and upgrades and stuff like that. And right now, there's not a good way to do it. I think you have to go into the settings.
Yeah, to delete.
To do it, it's like buried. It's hard to figure it out.
Yeah, you can delete your settings. You have to go in the settings, and there's, I believe, workspace, and then you open that up, and then there's a little trash can to the right, and you can delete those and make a new workspace.
Yeah, let me open it up and
to just go into settings. Do I have to have that workspace open?
No, I don't believe so.
So just in the area where you create a workspace, just go into workspace, and then click on settings, and there'll be a trash can.
Let me see if I can open my. I wonder if I can open up Makerverse without maybe connected. Okay. Yes, go to your settings and then workspaces, and then you're gonna see your workspace. And on the right side, I wish I can. How do I share my screen on here? Let me see.
I can give you
one you want to delete.
Yeah. Here, I need to log into mine. So yeah, let me just give you access, Mike, and then you can do it. There you go. You should be able to do it now.
I have no idea how to share screens.
So down at the bottom, there's that little green like box with an arrow in the middle of it that just share screen next to the chat.
I see it. Share screen.
I'm not logged into mine here. And
top one, open preferences. Hold on. Zoom.
There we go. You find it?
So many different securities. I had to allow Zoom to do all this stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot my my Makerverse password, so let me. I gotta look it up.
Okay.
I can share my screen if you guys want to do it.
Is this sharing?
Yep.
Yeah, you got it, Mike. Sweet.
Awesome.
Just as I got logged in.
Maybe at home, and you go here to settings, and your workspaces is right here. You hit workspaces, and right here you can delete your workspace.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then also, there's different issues here. Your controller, like right here, if you have a G code that's always messing up, you can always hit that right there. And because I know I was having problems when I was using Fusion 360, there was some reason, and then I just hit that. But you have to be very careful with this. Because you can go haywire, but for the most part, I have it always checked on mine, and I've never had any problems with it. But in reality, that's how you can actually change your delete your actual work.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. So we got any more questions or comments?
All right,
any projects?
I have one more question.
Yeah,
Let me just get this. Now that I've gotten this figured out. Okay, so I have the M1 with the upgraded ZXS kit. So I do have the Arduino Do board.
Awesome.
Where do I start?
So
because now, do I go to the GitHub thing still?
So no, skip those other things that I sent you.
Okay,
so the video that I just posted explains that explains all of that. Let me go and I'll find it for you real quick, and I'll stick it in there. Or you said you already watched it, I think, right?
Yeah, and Mia, I actually sent you an email as well. So whenever you have a chance.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mike beat me to it.
But not with it. I just asked her for her contact info so I can get with them after this call, and I can maybe help them set it up if they have trouble.
Yeah, and I've got it right here. She sent me her email too, Mike. So,
awesome.
And let me see.
I'll come back with a project next week. Done.
Sweet. All right, let me go to the studio here and get this. And there it is. Bloop. Get shareable link. So that has the links to all the stuff that you need, and it'll walk you through it. So you downloaded Arduino, so you're already set with that. And then it's got the link to get the firmware, which I think you already have too. So you'll just make sure that you have the correct board downloaded and then the programming port selected, and you should be good to rock. How's everybody else doing? Matt, you got yours built yet?
Yep, I've been working a lot. I've been getting a lot of stuff done on my my test board. I may have broken my DeWalt router.
Uh-oh.
When I was trying to get the call it off, I felt something inside it kind of give, and I was like, that's not good. So a little piece of metal fell out the middle. It still fits, and the collet still is on there pretty well, but now I can't. The button doesn't stop the shaft from moving, so I have to source another DeWalt. They're really hard to find. They're really hard to come by, and even on Amazon, I found one that's like $50 more than I paid for it the original time. So,
is that something you can get warranted for? It seems like if that button broke, and you just got it, that should be a warranty. You should be able to
Yeah, I'm sure I can get it returned, but the problem is getting another one, right? I want to get it. I don't want to have my machine go down for for that long. So I'm exploring like other routers, and I can't find anything in this area. I went to 4 different stores, and I got one of the Bosch 1.25 horsepower, and it said Colt on there, so I figured I was good because I looked at the document, but it wasn't the exact model that I was there, and it's just like a mil or two too big for the 71 the 71 mount, and it looks like a superior router. It looks like it's better than the DeWalt, but it's just a hair too big, and I can't get it to fit in that clamp, so I had to return that one.
Yeah.
I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a one of the Harbor Freight ones because it looked pretty small. Well, that one's too small. It will fit. It rattles around in there. So I don't know what I'm going to be able to do because I can't find the same DeWalt anywhere in town. I've been to different stores.
DeWalt is having the same supply chain issues that like everybody's having right now. So what with the smaller router, I know that there's been a bunch of people getting Makitas, so those small little Makita routers that are 65 millimeters. And if that one that you got from Harbor Freight is 65 millimeters, there are 3D printed clamps that's like an adapter that you can that can fit in there. So I don't know if you have a 3D printer. If you don't, I'll print one for you and I'll send it to you for free. Just like the same thing. Just send your message to like just send us your email in the chat and we'll send you one if it's 65 millimeters, and then that one will work.
I measured it with my caliper and it looks 65 millimeters. So I'd love to, if I can get somebody to do that, I'd be happy, but I'll pay you. I have the means, and it's my fault that I broke it, but
we didn't realize, like, we've had the DeWalt on there for, we haven't had those like issues with it running out, and then because that's the one that I use, it's the one that lots of people use, and then they just had some huge supply chain stuff happen, and everybody's kind of like searching for different ones. So we want to still make sure that you can cut. So I'll message you, or Mike will message you. He might already be doing it right now. We'll see. And I'll make sure that we get you on.
It looks like the Harbor Freight one's 65 millimeter. It's real cheap, and it doesn't have LEDs and all that stuff. So I'm not all that excited about it, but I couldn't find the 91 mil clamp on Maker Made. It's sold out. So I like these other guys. I think I'd like to use a bigger router, but it doesn't matter to me. I just want to be able to cut, and it still cuts, but I can't get the collet off. So I can still run it in the garage, but I contacted, I'm going to probably try to return it because I can't get the thing off, but yeah.
Where are you located at, Matt?
What's that?
Where are you located at?
Houston, Texas.
Texas. Why don't you look there in your area on Marketplace to see if someone has a router? I know there's a couple of people that I saw one router here about 3 days ago.
Okay.
That they were selling that one. I think it was like $85. I mean, you can't go wrong with the used one, even if you have to change the bushings in it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I can take a look. I went to 4 different stores. What marketplace are you talking about? Like the Facebook?
Like Facebook Marketplace? That's where
Facebook. But I could.
Or Craigslist, maybe? I don't know.
Craigslist. If you need, I can look it up something on Facebook, and I have Facebook, and I can look in your area in Houston, and see if I can find a DeWalt there.
I looked on Craigslist, and I looked at making, because I still have a 1/8 inch bit in my router, so I could make a clamp for it out of plywood or whatever, but I don't know how well that'll hold together. So, no.
Yeah. I want to know if that 65 millimeter one works. Do you know the name of it? Because we'd like to. I want to.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
It's a Bauer.
Yeah,
It's a Bauer?
Yep.
A Bauer. I got the same one.
Oh, okay. Does it work, Casey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you have an insert, like you were talking about, it works. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but it turns on. It gets, I don't know, probably 25,000 RPM on it.
Yeah, the Bauer.
Okay, sweet.
And that was like $65, right? $80, something like that on Harbor Freight.
Yeah, it was only about
cheaper than
70
DeWalt.
bucks. It was about 70 bucks. So that one's
it's a great starter unit. I mean, I think for a lot of people just getting into it, getting something like that, it'll probably last you 4 or 5 months. I mean, it's a Harbor Freight unit. Come on, you're gonna get.
Well, it's good for them to actually make some stuff and actually make some money, and they can actually buy another one more expensive.
Right.
one,
I bought the I bought the extended warranty on it, so you know, if it breaks, I'm planning to bring it back to Harbor Freight and say, hey, give me another one. So
And it fits 1/4-inch bits too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna add that to our compatible router list that's community tested. Then, if y'all are using it, because I know everybody's searching for routers right now. So,
So Matt, in your area, you're in the Houston area, so am I. I went to Rockler, and that's where I bought my other. That's where I bought the Bosch.
I went to Rockler yesterday, but they're closed because of the cold and everything. So
I actually had to order mine online. They didn't have them in stock, but they did have them online, and it took me about a week and X number of change in days to get it. But I got the whole kit that has the plunge base and all that. So if I want to take it out of here and do something, I can.
Yep. Here's some of the projects that I worked on this weekend. I got a box. I like drinking Crown Royale, so I built a box for that.
Nice.
And I painted it's not glued together yet, but it fits a 1.5 liter bottle of Crown. And
heck yeah. I'm a Scotch man myself, so I love whiskey.
So I made a bunch of wooden gears, and then I put the numbers on them to identify how many teeth they are. And I'm trying to make some French cleat stuff. So I've got a lot of French cleats, and I'm trying to make some holders here for tools and stuff. So I'm just trying to, experiment with that, trying to make something that'll hook onto the French cleat system. So.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about that and like building it to save space. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So anyways, that's what I'm working on today. But, again, the DeWalt one still works, it runs and everything, but I can't get the bit out. So.
Yeah. For the gears, are you going to make like a mechanical system, like a clock or something like that to put the gears together, or like gear something up or gear something down?
Yeah, there was some on easel. There was some in instructable or instruction video where she made like a grid of holes, and I was thinking about doing something like that, but the one she had was quite a bit smaller. I think I used 1/4-inch holes for 1/4-inch hardware, which is what I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just gonna play around with it, and something that something for people to play around with and see. But the plywood I used was pretty old. It was an old bench that I made years ago, and I took it apart. So it had a lot of voids in it, and a lot of the gears have holes in the teeth and stuff, so it's probably not going to work too well. But the plan is to, to make some kind of a thing that, kinetic thing that'll move, or a little, something with the gears. Would just be fun to see the, gear ratios and stuff. So.
Yeah, and an awesome way to test all the tolerances and stuff on it, and see how it's cutting too. So
yeah, it really cuts well. I got mine calibrated, and I'm pretty happy with it. Just
awesome.
I just want to change the bit because I want to put a 1/4-inch one in there and cut out a desk, but I can't get it out. So anyways, but yeah, I'm real happy with it. It's been working real well, and trying to figure out stuff to design and make. So
yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Cool, y'all. Does anybody else have any more questions?
Yeah. What's the Makita? What's the model number? Is it the RT0701C?
For that 65 mil Makita?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Let me look at
I think that's the one I'm using.
the router guide. It is, yes, RT0701C.
Okay.
Yeah, the 1 1/4 horsepower.
Yeah, I found one in Houston. But I think he wants a DeWalt one, right? Matt wants looking for DeWalt one.
Yeah, he was trying to find the DeWalt one so he wouldn't have to have the adapter. Yeah, so there's the smaller one. Yeah.
So here's the sled on the table here, and this one just, it just doesn't fit in there.
Just barely, yeah. So have you tried to put something else in there, like
some shims or something?
Yeah, like a shim or something like that. Did that work?
I had some rubber. No, it's just too much different. I had some real thin rubber that I like to use for dampening stuff, but I can't get it to close up. So, the DeWalt works great, and it's still chucked with the bit. Just can't get it out. So, we'll figure something out. But that new Bosch one, they have that new Bosch that has 1 1/4 horsepower. It looked like a much better router than the DeWalt, but it's just a hair too big. It just wouldn't fit in this 71 millimeter clamp. So
it's like a 1 1/4 Bosch.
Yeah, and it was readily available at Lowe's. I had like 3 or 4 of them, and it looked to me like it was the right size, but it just was a hair too small. And maybe a 72 or a 73 millimeter clamp would have worked, but it was really, really close. So
is it like the GKF 1-2? It's not the Colt, but it's like got another name on it here. It actually says Colt.
It said Colt on it. That's why I bought it, because I figured I was good. Yeah. But the it was just a hair too big. It just wouldn't go in that clamp at all. And I don't have the tools to mill aluminum right yet. So
yeah, I can't mill aluminum either. So
Drew, something that would be nice for you guys to put in the marketplace, or something that you could sell, is a shim pack that has multiple shims at 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, and 3 millimeter thicknesses. That way, if you think about
that's a great idea.
2 millimeter thickness, that smaller clamp you have, it would be able to cover from 65 millimeters all the way up to 72 millimeters. Just a simple shim pack for people to buy different routers, and they can slide those shims over their router when they put them in there.
Well, would the 72 fit though? Because the back end, since the back of it is a solid circle, would it still fit in there? It just like maybe wouldn't go down all the way, or
like the DeWalt, right? I mean, the thing is made from the DeWalt. If you buy a smaller one, it has a smaller radius.
Right. So, I thought you were talking about if it was a bigger one. So yeah. Okay.
No, you can't put a bigger one in a 72. Otherwise, it's just not going to fit. But if you could make a small shim pack at, let's say 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, and 4 millimeter sizes all in one little shim pack. At 4 millimeters, that's double that 8 on the radius on you can get all the way down to where if you've got you got a 25 millimeter router or a spindle. Some people are buying spindles these days. So the spindles, you'd be able to put in there, crank down, and use a spindle at 40,000 RPM.
Yeah, I know some of the spindles. We've been looking at some of those too, like researching spindles and things like that, because it's expensive. And to try to get one that's going to last too, and that can do the horsepower that we want it to be, and that's something that we're definitely testing out as well, just to try to come up with something like an easier way. Because ideally, like an ideal scenario is like you could purchase, if you didn't already have a router, you could purchase like everything that you needed, even like the dust collection and all of that. Like ideally, we would love to be able to offer all of that. And even if it's like affiliate links or something where like, you could get everything all at once, just to try to make it easier, because it is a kit, but it's like you then know exactly where to get all those little parts and pieces and stuff like that from.
Yeah, I'm going to post.
That's great. That's great though. I'm totally going to
I'll post this design here probably on the store in a few weeks. I got to fire out the old printer, and get it going again. I just haven't. It'd be a lot nicer if it was made of plastic. Make it about 4 millimeters thick on the walls, and it'd be a lot lighter. And then I could just print the tubes coming out the side. Then instead of these hard tubes, you could probably use a soft 2.5-inch regular shop vac hose.
Yeah, like you could just cut your shop vac hose and like use that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Clamp it on there, screw it down with some wing nuts, and man, you're rocking and rolling.
It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it needs to be printed. The one I made out of wood, this is just a prototype, I guess. But man, it's super effective. So I'm gonna just print one out, see what it works, see how it works.
Yeah, I definitely want to see how, because I know we were talking about like the suction and if that's like preventing it from moving around and as it's blowing it around. So see you, Matt. So yeah, definitely want to know like how it's been going.
I posted a bunch of pictures on the Maker Made Facebook page. So you can go in there and you can look at the sub photos, how it was made, what it looks like. You can kind of see the design and kind of what it's meant to do, the way it's.
I'm not on Facebook a bunch, but I'll go down there and look. I need to go and look at the group. It's been a bit since I've been in there, so I'm not on Facebook very much. So yeah, awesome. Well, we've got maybe time for like one more question. It's like 12. Does anybody have any questions?
I've got one about this laser question that keeps being handed around. What's the deal with that? Where are you at with that?
Oh, man, someday we want it. So it's in the prototyping phases right now. So we're testing the mount, and we've been testing JTech lasers. So we've been testing like that setup and getting it all going. So see, Chris, and we want to try to find one that works. And I believe it's CorelDRAW is the program that they're testing it and stuff with. And
Lightburn.
Lightburn, that's it. Lightburn, yeah, that's the one that they've been testing and using. So we want to make sure that it's safe first, and then release like the instructions and stuff on how to do it, and then eventually like offer the brackets and the laser mount and all that kind of stuff too.
But just to let y'all know, it's gonna be like just a laser to like burn. It's not gonna be like a plasma cutter. It's not gonna cut all this stuff.
No, I'm dangerous. I'm dangerous enough without having to have lasers in my house, to be totally fair with you. But I just keep seeing the question coming up, and it'd just be good if I see it on Facebook or whatever, then just go, yeah, it's in the pipeline or whatever, So that's just so people get a bit of an answer a bit quicker sometimes,
Yeah, a lot of people think that in their minds they think that it's gonna be a laser, like it's gonna cut all this metal and stuff. It's not.
Yeah, like a James Bond laser.
Am I right? Am I wrong, Drew, or am I right?
No, you're right. Yeah, it's an engraver, so it pretty much can just like burn and mark some stuff. So yeah, it's not going to be able to really cut anything more than like cardboard. I think it's 7 watt with me. I think it's a 7 watt laser. I think that's the one that we've been testing, and I think that we've been testing maybe a 15 too. So that they're not super powerful. But just trying to make sure that it's going to be reliable, and kind of get that whole setup. And the mount is really the biggest thing too. That's like trying to figure out the mount that's going to work, because the do board supports it. That's what that green port on the side is. And then Makerverse supports it as well. So like it has the same capabilities because it's just moving around in the G code in the same way. So we're just trying to figure out how that connection is going to work to hopefully even variably control the laser through Makerverse, and like just figuring all that out is it turned out to be a lot more steps than originally anticipated.
No doubt. Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, yeah, have a good one. Good talking to everybody, and have fun making.
Cheers, Drew. Bye.
All right, later.